Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. My name is Liz and this is Let's Get Lizical, where we do everything card making. Today we're going to make a fun card using some custom products that I just did right now on my computer. And it's not necessarily one I'm selling, it's just something I did to customize the card the way I wanted it to. I'm going to be using this Dragon Trio stamp set from Sweet November Stamps, and it says You're on Fire, but in order to make this a Valentine's Day card, I said You Set My Heart on Fire. I printed out 3 different sizes. I did this on Illustrator, but just because I have that program, I'm more familiar with it. You can do this type of thing on Word, Canva, Google Docs even, as long as you have all the fonts. This one was a little bit different just because, again, I did it on Illustrator, so I was able to add like a double outline. So I made it kind of like look like the word fire was on fire in a sense, because I did the fill in red and then 2 outlines, and I did one in orange and one in yellow. But you could just do it red. It's a little fuzzy too, the way it printed. I don't know if you can see that, but it's not like a crystal clear, but it's fine because it kind of gives you that like fire kind of look. And I will look at the fonts that I used. I used a lot of ones on Creative Fabrica. I have the account pretty much just for fonts. So I pay the $10 a month to get unlimited downloads. And again, I use it mostly for fonts. Like, I'll sit and go through fonts for hours, no problem. It's so much fun to me. I love doing it. And I love mixing and matching fonts. So like tall skinny ones with more scripty ones. So that's what I did for this. It's an inch width, and then it obviously scaled proportionately because I had the aspect ratio locked. I did this one at 1.25 inches wide, and then this one's at 1.5 inches. I think this one might be a little bit too big. This one's a bit too small, so this perfect one in the middle is probably the one we're going to end up using. But yeah, so we're going to be using that. This, again, you can make your own. As long as you have a computer and a printer, you're set to go. But anyway, so we'll be using that card base. I might also use some of these hearts that were cut out from last week's card, so maybe like a couple of these little ones. I was originally going to take these like bigger ones and kind of like lay them out on a background too, and then you can kind of, if you cut all 3 backgrounds, just like layer them up in different colors if you want. That would be like a fun background. But for today, I kind of want to make like an old school like lined piece of paper look. So I'm thinking I'm going to stamp this on a panel, color it in, and then I'll draw the lines around it. Originally I was going to do my own pattern paper, which I could technically still do, but I don't want to have to cut anything out. I want this to be pretty much a 1-layer card other than the sentiment. So I think I'm just going to do, I'll cut it at 5.5 still, and then I will cut it at 4.25, and then we'll stamp the dragon, color it, and then I'll draw in the background. So yeah, so stay tuned for that. I'll move over to voiceover so you don't have to listen to me talk forever. Anyway, in person. It would make this video way too long. This card will probably take me about half an hour maybe to do. We'll see. But yeah, so I will switch over to voiceover and be right back. Hey guys, voiceover Liz here. So we're just gonna be working on the dragon, and like I said, I'm gonna try to do this all on 1 layer with very little layering on top of that. So I'm just doing the dragon and the fire as a stamped image. We're gonna draw on the paper background, which you'll see it here in a bit once I'm done coloring. But I decided to do this dragon like super cute. She's all pink. I probably could add lashes to this one if I wanted to, but I didn't. We all know how that disaster worked out last week. It's a little bit harder on little tiny eyes, but this one would probably be really cute to add eyelashes to, just to make her a little bit more adorable. Maybe even a little sparkle in the eye. But, you know, anyway, so yeah, we're just gonna color the image in. I'm using kind of like a dusty rose-ish pink Like it's a more muted pink, and then a red for the shading. And then I'm going over some areas later on, just with some additional dots for texture in the same pink that I colored the main body in, which again you'll see here at the end, just because, as always, I get to the end of the card and I'm like, yay, I'm done, and then I'm like, no, I'm missing some details. There was actually a few other techniques that I wanted to show in this video as well and forgot about, so we'll do that in a future dragon video for sure. Maybe in the next fruit dragon series I can do that, just for adding more texture to your dragons or anything like scaly looking dinosaurs, whatever. And we'll go through those at a future date. But yeah, this card is super cute. I really love the way that it turned out. It's very like middle school girl notebook to me, just because I put it on like a lined paper background. And it's just like, I feel like it's something you would like maybe doodle in a notebook. Obviously you would get the lines through it if you were doodling in the notebook, which is why I kind of like drew the lines around the dragon after instead of printing this out. Otherwise I would have had to have done this on a separate piece of paper, cut it out, and applied it after, which again is also fine. But I just wanted to do this, you know, all manually. It didn't take long either. And the effect still looks like a lined piece of paper the way I did it, so yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I'm just coloring the dragon in, adding a little bit of shading. As always, I'm not going for any perfect blends, just a little bit of cell shading basically, and, you know, lines here and there to indicate shadows, but nothing crazy. I'm not crazy on coloring with like 5 markers for one area. 2 to 3 max maybe, and even with the 2 you can kind of make a third one if you either do the tip to tip method to make like a third middle color. Usually you bleed the darker marker into the lighter one and then color with that for an in-between shade, or the way that Amy R does it, which I've done in the past as well, is kind of scribble some marker onto an acrylic block with the darker marker, and then pick it up with your lighter marker and then color it that way. That's the way I like to do it as well, so you know, there's options. But here we are getting to the paper. I kind of made the lines in a little bit further than I would kind of want them to be if I was leaving this panel as is, just because I knew I was cutting this out afterwards. So I am just adding the, you know, standard red line off to the left side, leaving some space at the top there for your, you know, title, date, whatever. It's been a while since I've been in school. But, you know, we always added like the titles and like the date or whatever on the top line, and then your essay or whatever below that. Again, it's been a hot minute since I've been in middle school or used any lined paper for anything other than in notebooks. So I don't even know if I have lined paper, to be honest. I think this would be like a cute print to do. I think I've probably seen it in some paper packs before where they do like a lined paper print. This one would have to be set up so that you would get 4 panels on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, but I could definitely do that if anybody's interested. Maybe we can do like a back to school pack or something for September and then do that. But again, I really just love the way that this card turned out. It's very like nostalgic in a sense, and the lined paper, it looks fantastic. It really does. I really love the way it looks. I used a T-square ruler to do the lines. I didn't necessarily use it as that. I was kind of lining it up with certain markers on the ruler itself. Sometimes I'll like just use the line indicators as gauges. If you have a grid ruler, you can use that. This one, I just like lined it up with the ends of the markers for the every like 1/4 inch mark or whatever, if that makes sense. But anyway, I also, of course, used my A2 deckled edge frame on this. I used the biggest one just because I didn't want to lose a lot of the paper, because again, I like the notebook look to it. And then I decided to put it on a red background. I could have made a red card base out of this, but I decided just to add it to the card base I had already finished, and it just added that little bit of like colored border to it that it needed. And then for the sentiment, I just cut it into like a banner style, just because when I was holding it above the card for placement purposes, it looked kind of cool in the square that I had it in, so I just decided to make this into like a pointy banner. I probably could have done it the other way, but I think I like the pointed banner just because it's kind of like pointing at the dragon the way that I laid it out. And then for the hearts, again, those are the hearts we had cut out of the frames that I introduced last week. The smaller ones are from the A2 frame and the larger ones are from the A7 frame. And I just thought I would use them on here. I just used 2 of the larger ones and 3 of the smaller ones and kind of like spread them up the card. It also helps kind of cover any, you know, non-straight lines or any impurities that might have come up, especially when you're using like felt tip markers. When you're drawing lines, if you don't draw it consistently, like some areas will be thicker, some thinner, or if you go over certain areas twice, it might look a little bit darker. So it's just a good way to cover up those areas as well. If you made any mistake, just throw some hearts on it. But yeah, so that's pretty much our card for today. I didn't do too much on this one, but again, I really love how this card turned out, like looking at it now, and it's so cute. This would be cute if you wanted to do maybe a bunch of these for like your kids to give to their classmates or whatever. I don't know if kids still do that these days, but we used to go and get those like boxes of 24 ones that you had to like tear apart and then give them out to our friends at Valentine's Day. So, you know, making a dozen or so of these for like your preschooler or, you know, grade 1 or something earlier in life would be cute. Or if you have, you know, teenage daughters that want to just give a few to their friends, like this is just, it would be a cute idea for that, I think. So, yeah. Anyway, that's our card for today, guys. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment down below, and let me know your thoughts. Do you think this is nostalgic to you as well? And yeah, I'll be back again on Tuesday for like a bonus video, because I'm not doing as many Valentine's Day cards this year as I think I did last year. So I'm just going to add in a bonus video for next Tuesday, and it's going to be super fun because we're going to finally use that pizza ghost from the Spellbinders 13 Days of Craftoween set, which I'm excited about. I've used the ghost for like Halloween cards, but I'm excited to use it for Valentine's Day card. So until then, I hope you guys have a great weekend and everybody stays safe and warm because it's going to be cold. And yeah, so until next time, thanks guys. Bye.